What would you do if you discovered that the police deliberately covered up a murder to protect a killer with powerful political connections? And before you say that could never happen in America, let me tell you about the death of Isabella Chen, wife of tech millionaire David Chen, who was found dead in their Beverly Hills mansion on March 23, 2019 in what police immediately ruled a suicide despite overwhelming evidence pointing to murder. And if you think the justice system would never protect a killer just because of their connections, this case will completely change your perspective on how law enforcement really operates when money and power are involved. So make sure to subscribe to Cold Case Chronicles, because we're about to expose a conspiracy that reaches the highest levels of California politics, and I guarantee you will be shocked by who was really behind Isabella's death and how far they went to cover it up. Isabella Chen was a 34-year-old former investigative journalist who had made enemies in high places through her reporting on corruption in the California state government. And specifically, she had been investigating illegal campaign contributions from foreign governments to Governor Patricia Williams, who was running for re-election in 2020. And Isabella had uncovered evidence that Governor Williams had received over $2 million in illegal contributions from Chinese shell companies in exchange for favorable trade policies and construction contracts. And just days before her death, Isabella had contacted the FBI to arrange a meeting where she planned to turn over bank records, email correspondence, and audio recordings that would have ended Governor Williams' political career and potentially sent her to federal prison. And what happened next proves that some people will kill to protect their secrets. And if you think a sitting governor wouldn't order a murder, wait until you hear the evidence we've uncovered, so hit that like button and let's dive deep into this political conspiracy. The official police report states that Isabella Chen shot herself in the head with her husband's gun while he was attending a business conference in Seattle. But the evidence tells a completely different story, starting with the fact that Isabella was left-handed. Yet the gun was found in her right hand, and the bullet trajectory was inconsistent with a self-inflicted wound, according to 3 independent forensic experts who reviewed the case. And, most damning of all, is the security footage from the Chen mansion, which shows a black SUV with government license plates arriving at the property 2 hours before Isabella's estimated time of death. And the same vehicle is seen leaving just 30 minutes after the gunshot was recorded by the home's audio system. And when Isabella's family tried to obtain this security footage through legal channels, they were told it had been accidentally deleted during routine maintenance, and the security company that installed the system mysteriously went out of business 3 weeks after Isabella's death. And if you think these coincidences are suspicious, wait until you hear about the evidence that was deliberately destroyed. So make sure you're subscribed, because this cover-up goes deeper than you can imagine. Detective Maria Rodriguez, who was the first responder to the scene, has now come forward with explosive testimony that her superiors ordered her to alter her initial report and remove all references to signs of a struggle in Isabella's office. And Rodriguez reveals that when she arrived at the mansion, furniture was overturned, papers were scattered everywhere, and Isabella's laptop was missing, despite there being no signs of a burglary anywhere else in the house. And most telling of all, Isabella had defensive wounds on her hands and arms that were photographed by the crime scene photographer. But these images were later removed from the evidence file and marked as classified, and when Detective Rodriguez questioned her captain about the missing evidence, she was threatened with termination and reassigned to traffic duty. And the medical examiner who performed Isabella's autopsy, Dr. Kenneth Wright, was pressured to change his initial finding from homicide to suicide, and when he refused, he was fired from his position, and his medical license was suspended pending investigation. And if you want to know who had the power to orchestrate this level of cover up, the answer will shock you, so smash that like button and let's expose the truth together. Governor Patricia Williams had the most to lose from Isabella's investigation, and newly obtained phone records show that the governor made dozens of calls to high-ranking police officials in the hours following Isabella's death. And according to whistleblower testimony from former campaign manager Janet Foster, Governor Williams held an emergency meeting at her private residence on the night Isabella died, where she discussed damage control strategies with her inner circle. And Foster reveals that the governor specifically mentioned, quote, neutralizing the journalist threat, unquote, during this meeting. And even more damning is the discovery that Governor Williams's chief of staff, Michael Torres, was seen leaving the Chen mansion just hours before Isabella's body was found. And Torres drove a black SUV identical to the one captured on the deleted security footage, and when investigators tried to interview Torres about his whereabouts that night, He claimed diplomatic immunity due to his previous work. As a trade liaison with foreign governments, and the governor's office refused to cooperate with any investigation, and instead hired a team of expensive lawyers to block all information requests. And if this level of obstruction doesn't prove guilt, wait until you hear about the financial evidence that connects the governor directly to Isabella's murder. So make sure notifications are turned on, because this story gets even more explosive. Banking records obtained through Freedom of Information Act requests show that Governor Williams received a deposit of $500,000 into a secret offshore account just 2 days after Isabella's death. And this money came from the same Chinese shell companies that Isabella had been investigating. And phone intercepts revealed that Governor Williams spoke directly with Chinese government officials about, quote, resolving the journalist problem permanently, unquote. And in exchange for eliminating Isabella Chen, the Chinese government promised to provide an additional $10 million in campaign contributions for the governor's re-election bid. And most shocking of all is the discovery that Isabella's murder was not the first time Governor Williams had ordered the elimination of inconvenient witnesses. And former state senator Robert Kim, who had been investigating the governor's corruption, was killed in a suspicious car accident just 6 months before Isabella's death. And Kim's mechanic has now admitted that he was paid $50,000 to tamper with the senator's brakes. And when Kim's family tried to pursue a wrongful death lawsuit, their attorney mysteriously dropped the case and left the state. And if you think this conspiracy couldn't get any bigger, wait until you hear about the federal officials who helped cover up these crimes. So hit that subscribe button, because we're exposing corruption at the highest levels of government. FBI Director James Sullivan, who was appointed by the previous administration, had been taking bribes from the same Chinese shell companies that were funding Governor Williams. And when Isabella Chen contacted the FBI about her investigation, Sullivan immediately alerted the governor and helped plan Isabella's murder. And newly declassified documents show that Sullivan used federal resources to help cover up the crime, including ordering the deletion of phone records and intimidating potential witnesses. And the Chinese government was so confident in their control over American officials that they openly discussed their assassination plans in recorded phone calls, believing they were protected by corrupt FBI leadership. And when honest FBI agents tried to investigate Isabella's death, they were transferred to remote field offices or forced into early retirement. And the evidence of this conspiracy was hidden in classified files that were only recently leaked by a whistleblower within the intelligence community. And if you want to see justice for Isabella Chen and expose this massive corruption, show your support by liking this video and subscribing to Cold Case Chronicles, because we're fighting to bring these criminals to justice no matter how powerful they are. Today, Isabella Chen's husband David continues to fight for answers, while the people responsible for his wife's murder enjoy their freedom and comfortable government positions. And the most tragic part is that Isabella died trying to protect American democracy from foreign interference. But instead of being hailed as a hero, her death was covered up by the very system she was trying to protect. And Governor Williams won re-election in 2020 with help from the Chinese money she received in exchange for Isabella's murder. And she currently serves as governor while planning a run for the U.S. Senate. And FBI Director Sullivan retired with full pension benefits and now works as a highly paid consultant for Chinese corporations. And the Chinese officials who ordered Isabella's death continue to operate with impunity, because their American accomplices protect them from any consequences. And this case proves that when corruption reaches the highest levels of government, even patriotic Americans who try to expose treason become targets for assassination. And the only way to honor Isabella's sacrifice is to continue exposing these crimes and demanding justice. So if this story has opened your eyes to the reality of political corruption and foreign interference in American government, subscribe right now and turn on notifications, because tomorrow we're releasing an even more shocking case about a federal judge who was murdered for refusing to dismiss charges against Chinese spies. And together we can make sure that heroes like Isabella Chen are remembered, and that their killers face justice even if it takes years to expose the truth. Because at Cold Case Chronicles we believe that no one is above the law, and we'll never stop fighting for victims of government corruption and political assassination. So thank you for watching, and remember that every subscription helps us continue investigating these cases and fighting for justice. And I'll see you in the next video, where we'll continue exposing the dark secrets that powerful people kill to protect.